I am 50 years old, and I have been driving long-haul trucks since before half the people around me on this freeway were born. That does not make me brave. It does not make me smart in every way that matters. It means I know weight. I know distance. I know how a lane closes before the sign says it is closed. I know how a shoulder turns useless when one person thinks his sedan can fit where it cannot. I know how heat builds inside a cab when the engine is off, how fast a bottle of water becomes valuable, and how a stopped road changes people after the first hour. At 2:18 in the afternoon, I am northbound with a sealed trailer full of emergency medical supplies, and traffic ahead of me is slowing in a way I do not trust. Not normal brake lights, not construction. This is a full stop rolling backward through lanes, red lights from cars, trucks, recreational vehicles, delivery vans, motorcycles caught between bumpers. The sky is bright and clear. It is 91 degrees outside, according to the dash. The asphalt ahead has that dry summer glare that makes distance hard to judge. I ease off the throttle and let the truck lose speed without touching the brake too hard, because there is a tanker behind me and a family van riding my right rear corner. The Citizens Band radio has been messy all day. Too many voices, not enough facts. Crash at mile marker 182. Police activity near the service plaza. Exec ramps closed. Somebody says a prison bus overturned. Somebody else says no, it is an evacuation bus. A man with a rough voice keeps repeating that people are biting in the southbound lanes. Every time he says it, another driver tells him to get off the channel. I reach for the microphone and key it once. Northbound driver in the white Freightliner at 179. Anybody got eyes past the bend? A woman answers after a second. Do not go left. Left lane is gone. Median is blocked. State police are pushing everyone right. What happened? No answer. Then a man cuts in, loud enough to distort. People are down on the road. I am not kidding. People are down. I do not answer that. I put the microphone back, check my mirrors, and bring the truck down to walking speed. The trailer seal is still listed on my paperwork. Loam destination is a regional medical warehouse outside Harrisburg. Masks, gloves, saline, wound care kits, disposable gowns, small field triage packs, and cartons that I am not allowed to open without authorization. I picked it up outside Columbus before dawn. The dispatcher told me the load was urgent, but did not explain why dispatchers use urgent when a receiver wants something by Friday. Dispatchers use urgent when somebody forgot to schedule a liftgate. I did not hear panic in his voice. Now I hear panic through the radio. Traffic stops completely at 2:31 in the afternoon. My front bumper is 10 feet behind a blue compact car with a bike rack and 2 flat rear tires. I can see a woman in the passenger seat twisting around to look at children in the back. The driver gets out, slams the door, and walks forward with his phone in the air. He is not angry yet. He is still in that first stage where a person believes a better signal will fix the situation. I set the parking brake, leave the engine running, and take a slow look around before I open my door. That habit has saved me from forklifts, loose dogs, angry drivers, and one drunk man who tried to climb into my cab at a truck stop outside Tulsa. It does not feel dramatic, it feels normal. Left mirror, right mirror, hood mirror. Nothing moving between the lanes except people stepping out of cars and staring forward. The freeway is packed farther than I can see. 4 northbound lanes, shoulder included now because people have already decided the shoulder belongs to whoever wants it most. Southbound is stopped too, but not in the same clean way. Cars sit at odd angles. A box truck is half across the median barrier. Farther down, emergency lights flash red and blue in a cluster near the overpass. A helicopter passes low behind me, heading north. Its sound rolls over the road and makes people look up. I step down from the cab and feel the heat come off the pavement. Diesel exhaust hangs close to the ground. Somebody has a dog barking from inside a recreational vehicle. A baby is crying somewhere behind me. Not a hard cry, a tired one. Doors are open. People are already walking between vehicles, trying to collect information from each other because the official world is still talking in fragments. A state trooper's voice comes from a loudspeaker ahead, too far away to make out every word. I hear, "Remain with your vehicle, then medical assistance, then do not block the shoulder." The last part is already too late. A white pickup with lawn equipment in the bed is wedged at an angle between the shoulder and the right lane. Behind it, A courier van is nosed into the grass, its front wheels sunk deep enough that it will not come back out without help. I walk to the rear of my trailer and check the seal. Still intact. I check both doors, the locking bars, the latch. A man from a minivan watches me do it. He has a red face and sweat dripping from his chin. "You got water in there?" he asks. "Medical load." "That means water, right?" "It means medical load." He looks at the trailer, then at me. He is not threatening me. Not yet. He is hot and worried and trying to solve the problem in front of his family. I understand that. I also know a trailer full of supplies can turn into public argument in less than a minute if one person shouts the right word. "I have a few bottles in the cab," I tell him. "How many people with you?" "Wife, 2 kids, my mother." I take out 2 bottles from my side box and hand them over. Not because I am generous, because 2 bottles now might stop him from telling 20 people there is water in the truck. He says thanks without looking at me and hurries back to the minivan. By 3 in the afternoon, the jam has settled into a shape. People are standing in gaps. A few drivers have turned off engines. Most have not. Air conditioning matters more than fuel when nobody believes the road will stay closed. The official alert on phone says law enforcement activity and multi-vehicle collision. Avoid area. Then the phones start failing in different ways. No signal. Emergency calls only. Must stuck sending. A young woman in leggings climbs onto the roof of a Jeep and says she has a live stream. Then loses it and curses at her screen. The citizens' band radio gets worse. A driver southbound says ambulances went in and never came out. Another says state police shot somebody near the median. A third voice says the hospital in the city is under lockdown. Nobody gives a clean source. Rumor moves faster than traffic because traffic is not moving at all. I write the time and mile marker in my paper log out of habit. 3:07 in the afternoon. Mile marker 179.4. Labrine temperature not critical. Fuel a little over half. Water in cab. 6 bottles after giving 2 away. Food. 1 sandwich from morning. A bag of pretzels, 2 apples and a thermos of coffee I should not be drinking in this heat. Tools, tire thumper, reflective triangles, gloves, flashlight, road atlas, straps, bolt seals I cannot legally use without a receiver, and a first aid kit that looks impressive until someone has a real injury. At 3:19 in the afternoon, a police sport utility vehicle comes down the shoulder from behind us, forcing people to squeeze between cars. The officer uses short siren bursts every few seconds. The sound makes everyone shift around. A man in a red shirt yells at drivers to move their mirrors in. Someone bangs on the side of my trailer and tells me to pull tighter to the left. I do not. There is nowhere useful to go. The police vehicle reaches the blue compact car in front of me and stops. The trooper gets out. He is young, maybe late 20s, but his face is already set in that hard official way people use when he has been repeating the same order too many times. He walks back along the lane, pointing at drivers. Stay with your vehicles. Keep the right shoulder clear. If you have a medical emergency, put a white cloth on your antenna or driver's window. Do not approach wrecked vehicles ahead. Do not approach anyone on the ground unless directed by emergency personnel. That last part changes the air around us. People hear it and look forward. The man from the minivan with my water asks, "Why? What is wrong with them?" The trooper keeps walking. "Sir, stay with your vehicle." "What is wrong with them?" "Stay with your vehicle." He passes my cab, sees the medical placard paperwork clipped inside my side window and pauses. "Driver, is that your medical load?" "Yes, officer." "Destination?" I tell him. He glances toward the stopped freeway ahead. "Receiver may be unavailable. Do not open that trailer unless ordered by state police or emergency management. Keep it secured." "That road opening today?" He gives me half a second of eye contact, then looks past me at the line of stranded cars. "Stay with your vehicle." That is the answer. At 3:42 in the afternoon, heat starts doing what heat does. An older man in a button-down shirt sits on the pavement beside a silver sedan and refuses to get up. His daughter fans him with a folded map. A man from a landscaping truck brings a cooler with melted ice and gives her a wet towel. 3 lanes over, 2 boys pee between car doors while their mother holds up a beach towel. A driver in a suit tries to walk toward the exit ramp with a rolling suitcase. He gets turned back by another trooper after 5 minutes. I climb back into my cab and shut the door, but I do not feel safer. The cab is high, locked, and familiar. It also has glass on every side and blind spots I can name without thinking. Directly below the passenger door, behind the sleeper. Along the trailer sides, under the trailer if somebody wants to crawl. A truck gives a man height and mass, but stopped in a boxed-in lane. It is just a room with wheels. I lower the windows 2 inches to listen and turn down the radio. News on the broadcast band says there are isolated violent incidents across several counties and temporary emergency closures on major corridors. It says drivers should obey police instructions and avoid sharing unverified information. The announcer's voice is calm in the old professional way, but she repeats the same paragraph twice. Then a different station cuts to music in the middle of a sentence. At 4:06 in the afternoon, the first ambulance comes backward through the jam. I see it in the mirror before I understand what I am seeing. A box ambulance reversing on the shoulder. Lights flashing. No siren now. Its rear bumper is dented. The driver steers around the stuck courier van with less than an inch to spare. The passenger door is open, and a paramedic is half standing on the running board, shouting at people to move back. There is a smear of something dark on his sleeve. I do not stare at it. I look at his hands, shaking. People crowd anyway. That is what people do when an ambulance appears. A mother points to her child. The older man's daughter waves both arms. A motorcyclist runs after it. The paramedic keeps shouting, back up, we cannot take patients. Back up. The ambulance stops 20 yards behind my trailer because there is nowhere left to reverse. The driver lays on the horn for one long blast. The sound hits the whole line of vehicles. It is loud enough that people flinch. It is loud enough that a dog stops barking and starts whining. Then something moves inside the blue compact car in front of my truck. I am looking forward by chance. The family in the compact has been out of the car for a while. Woman, man, 2 children. The flat tires kept them from moving, so they have been sitting on the median barrier with backpacks. The car itself is empty, or I thought it was empty. A shape shifts in the back seat, not a child, bigger, folded low. The rear window is tinted. I see a hand press against the glass from inside. It stays there, fingers spread. Then the head rises. A man is in that back seat, middle-aged. Gray hair stuck to his forehead, face slack and wrong. He has been lying across the seat under a blanket or a jacket. Maybe he is a grandfather. Maybe a stranger climbed in before the family stopped. I do not know. The horn blasts again behind me, and the man inside the car throws himself against the rear door. The woman on the median screams his name. She runs to the car before anyone stops her. Her husband grabs for her shirt and misses. She pulls at the rear door handle. It does not open. Child lock. Maybe locked from inside, maybe. The man in the back seat slams into the window again. The children start crying. The husband reaches her and shouts for her to get away. A trooper runs forward from the shoulder, yelling, "Do not open it." The woman hits the unlock button on the front door. All 4 locks click loud enough for me to hear. The rear door opens 6 inches from pressure inside, and the man comes out sideways. He does not step. He falls into her and grabs with both hands. The movement is fast, messy, and direct. She goes down between the compact and my front bumper. Her husband pulls at the man's shoulders. The trooper reaches them and strikes the man with a baton. The children are screaming from the median barrier. The ambulance horn stops. I am out of my cab before I decide to be. Not running into the fight, moving to my left, grabbing the tire thumper from the cab step because I cannot stand there with empty hands. The trooper hits the man again. The man does not react in a normal way. No flinch, no attempt to protect himself. He keeps pushing toward the woman's arm. The husband gets one hand under her shoulder and drags her backward. The man on top follows until the trooper pulls him off by the collar and drives him into the side of the compact. The trooper shouts, "Stay back." People do not stay back. 2 men move in. One has a tow chain, one has nothing. The infected man turns at the nearest sound and bites the man with nothing on the forearm. The man yells once and punches him in the side of the head. The trooper draws his pistol. I turn away before the shot, but I hear it. 1 shot, then another. Then everyone is silent except the woman on the pavement and the 2 children crying. The trooper stands over the body and keeps his pistol pointed down. His jaw is tight. He looks sick, angry, and too young. The woman's husband is kneeling beside her, pressing a towel against her shoulder. The man with the forearm bite is staring at his own arm. He has stopped making noise. The paramedic from the ambulance walks up, sees the bite, and says, "No, no, 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 you need to step away." The bitten man says, "It is nothing. Step away from people. It is nothing." The trooper turns his pistol toward the pavement, not toward the man, but close enough that everyone understands the shape of the argument. That is when the freeway stops being a delay. It does not become chaos in one clean moment. That is the part people get wrong later, if later exists. Some people still climb into cars and lock doors. Some keep asking police when the lanes will open. Some start walking, some cry. Some get angry at anyone wearing a uniform. A man 3 cars ahead demands the trooper's badge number. A woman records with her phone until the phone dies. A delivery driver says it is a drug reaction. Another says rabies. Another says government test. The words change, but the facts stay on the pavement. A person lay still in a car for at least 40 minutes. A horn made him move. I climb back into my cab and close the door. I lock both sides. I do not start moving because nobody can move. I shut off my headlights, then the marker lights. The engine is still running. I reach for the key, hesitate, and leave it alone for another minute because the cab is hot already. Then I remember the way the man in the compact reacted when the horn blasted. I kill the engine. The silence inside the cab is immediate. Outside, the freeway is not silent. People are talking, crying, arguing. Engines idle. Emergency lights flash. But my own truck stops vibrating, and that makes the space around me feel exposed. At 4:30 in the afternoon, the police loudspeaker repeats new instructions. Stay in vehicles. Keep doors locked. Do not approach persons who appear unconscious. Report bites to uniformed personnel. Avoid unnecessary horn use. Avoid flashing lights unless signaling medical emergency. The officer's voice cracks once on the word bites. The woman from the compact is taken to the ambulance. The man with the forearm bite is not. He is made to sit alone by the median barrier with a trooper watching him from 6 feet away. That lasts 9 minutes. He begins to sweat hard and talk fast. Then he stops talking. He lowers himself onto his side, and for a while he looks dead. People near him back away. The trooper calls for medical. Nobody comes at 4:52 in the afternoon. A second helicopter comes in low from the north and points a spotlight down even though the sun is still up. Maybe the crew is searching the wreck area ahead. Maybe the crew is trying to guide responders. The light sweeps across roofs, windshields, open doors, the median, the southbound lanes. When the light crosses the bitten man on the ground, he sits up, not groggy, not confused. He comes up from the waist and turns his head toward the helicopter. The trooper steps back and yells at him to stay down. The man lunges at the voice. The trooper fires twice. People scream again. But this scream is different. More people believe it now. The helicopter climbs and moves away. I sit with both hands on the steering wheel and look down the line of stopped cars. I can see dark shapes inside several vehicles now. People slumped over steering wheels. People across seats. People lying in bus aisles farther ahead. Some are injured from the wrecks. Some are dead. Some may be asleep from heat, medication, shock. Some are not safe. And nobody can tell which is which from 20 feet away. That is the part that gets inside my head. Not the biting by itself. Not even the moving after collapse. It is the delay. A body can lie still long enough for pity to win. A body can lie still long enough for a decent person to open a door. By 5:15 in the evening, I have a small group near my truck without choosing one. The man from the minivan comes back. His name is Tim. His wife is Daria. Their children are Owen, age 8, and Lily, age 5. His mother, Evelyn, sits in the front passenger seat with a damp towel on her neck and says almost nothing. Tim asks if they can stand in the shade of my trailer. I tell him yes, but not near the doors. A nurse named Paula arrives from a recreational vehicle 2 lanes over. She has short gray hair, a canvas bag, and the habit of looking at hands before faces. She has been checking heat cases. She asks what is in my trailer. I tell her medical supplies. She asks if there are saline bags. I tell her probably. She asks if there are gloves and masks. I tell her yes. She asks if I can open it. Not yet, I say. People need help now. That trailer was sealed for a destination. She looks toward the ambulance that cannot move. The destination is probably closed. She is not wrong. That does not make the latch easier to touch. A bus driver named Naya joins us around 5:40 in the evening. Her evacuation bus is ahead in the right lane. full of people from a senior center. She had a police escort until the escort left to help at the overpass and did not come back. She says 3 people on her bus are feverish. 1 fell in the aisle and has not moved for 20 minutes. She locked the front door from outside and climbed out the driver window after passengers tried to force it open. Tim stares at her. You lock them in. I had 70 people on that bus, she says. 1 man bit through another man's cheek before I got everyone away from him. You want to judge it? Go drive it. Nobody answers. Nia asks for water. I give her 1 bottle. She drinks half and stops herself with visible effort. Around 6 in the evening, state police try to create a walking lane along the left side of the northbound lanes. They tell people who can walk to move north toward a controlled transfer point past the overpass. The order spreads badly. People hear evacuation. Walk north. Leave vehicles. Bring only what you can carry. And do not leave vehicles all at the same time. Families start packing bags. Drivers ask about pets. A man refuses to leave his recreational vehicle because his insulin is in the refrigerator. A woman refuses to walk because her husband is still unconscious in the passenger seat, and she thinks the ambulance will come back. The walking lane lasts less than 15 minutes. A police cruiser near the overpass uses its siren to clear people away from a wrecked pickup. The siren yelps 3 times. From where I stand, I see movement start in places that should have stayed still. A person in the back of a hatchback, another under the open door of a shuttle van, 1 inside a southbound sedan that has been quiet all afternoon. People shout warnings, but the warnings become more noise. The noise brings more movement. The still ones are not all dead. Some are waiting without knowing it. That is the only way I can explain it while standing there, with my hands on my belt and my mouth dry. The police fire more shots near the overpass. Then the walking lane breaks. People run back south and north at the same time, jamming between cars. A man carrying a toddler trips over a trailer hitch and drops a duffel bag. He leaves the bag. A teenage boy tries to pull an old woman through a window because the car door beside her is blocked. The woman slaps at him and refuses to climb. I climb onto my driver's step and raise my voice. Do not run past cars with closed windows. Look inside first. Do not touch door handles. Do not hit horns. Some people hear me, most do not. I am just a truck driver on a step. Paula comes to my cab and says, I need gloves now. I look at the trailer doors again. The seal is a thin strip of numbered metal. That seal stands for chain of custody, delivery, paperwork, insurance, receiver signatures. Rules that make sense in a country that still has time to argue about rules. 20 feet away, a boy has scraped both knees open on hot pavement, and his mother is using fast food napkins to wipe dirt from the cuts. I break the seal with my bolt cutter from the side box. No music, no grand feeling, just the small snap of metal giving up. I open the right trailer door first, keeping my body to the side because cargo can shift. Boxes sit in clean rows, strapped to pallets. Labels facing out, gloves, surgical masks, disposable gowns, saline bandages, alcohol pads, sterile wraps. The inside smells of cardboard and plastic. It smells organized. That smell feels wrong against the freeway air. Only what we can control, I tell Paula. No free-for-all. She nods and points to cartons. Gloves, masks, bandages. Saline if you have it. Tim helps me pull down 2 cartons and set them inside the shadow of the trailer. Daria keeps the children close. Nia stands facing the lane with a tire iron she got from somewhere. Evelyn watches from the minivan and says, close it between trips. Good advice. I close the door after every pull. Word gets out anyway. By 6:30 in the evening, 15 people are near my trailer. By 6:40 in the evening, it is 30. Some are polite, some are desperate. A man with a burned hand needs dressing. A woman needs a clean wrap for her husband's head. 2 teenagers ask for masks, then ask if masks stop bites. A man in golf clothes wants antibiotics for his wife because she has a fever. Paula tells him antibiotics do not fix everything. He calls her useless. Tim steps between them before I have to. The fever cases scare everyone. Heat can cause fever. Infection can cause fever. Panic can make a person look sick. Nobody knows enough. Paula starts asking direct questions. Bite? Scratch? Blood in the mouth? Did saliva get in the wound? People lie badly. People tell the truth and get punished by the faces around them. At 7:05 in the evening, the power on the cell network drops away completely or enough that it might as well be gone. Phones become flashlights, cameras, clocks, and dead weight. The sun is lower now, and the inside lanes are filling with shadow from the overpass. The temperature falls a few degrees, but the freeway feels worse. People who saved anger all afternoon start using it. A man with a shaved head and a black pickup says he is taking supplies for his family. He has 2 other men with him. One carries a pry bar. They do not look organized. That makes them more dangerous because no one knows who is in charge. I stand in front of the trailer latch. Medical handout is there. Paula is sorting it. I am not asking for a nurse's permission. You are not opening my trailer. Your trailer? He laughs once. Road is done, driver. You still worried about your delivery bonus. He reaches for the latch. I put the tire thumper across his forearm and push it away. Not a swing, not a fight yet. A line, the man's face changes. He wants me to be afraid enough to step back. I am afraid. I do not step back because if I step back once, the trailer is gone, and a crowd around a half-open medical load will become another emergency. Nia moves beside me with the tire iron down at her leg. Tim stands on the other side. Paula does not stop wrapping a woman's hand, but she looks up and says, "Take what we give you or leave." The man with the pry bar spits on the pavement. You people are going to get robbed by somebody worse. Probably, I say. Not right now. He backs off, not because he is done, but because the group around him is not ready to help. That matters. Bad men still count numbers. The sky turns dull orange near the horizon. I do not describe it to myself then. I barely look at it. I am watching windows. Every closed vehicle near us becomes a question. Every slumped shape behind glass becomes a problem we cannot solve. A dog in a recreational vehicle stops whining. That makes me look at it for a long time. At 7:37 in the evening, a woman named Carla taps on my cab door from the passenger side. She has a teenage son with asthma. The boy's inhaler is empty. She asks if my medical load has inhalers. Paula hears and says no, not in these kits. Carla's face goes hard in a quiet way. She turns away and walks between cars, opening doors, searching glove compartments. Her son follows with one hand on her backpack strap. I want to tell her not to open cars. I do tell her. She nods without listening. A parent will dig through a burning trash pile with bare hands if her child needs air. Reason has to fight that, and reason loses when the child is standing there. Carla opens a white sedan 2 lanes ahead. She opens a work van T-front, rear partition locked. She opens a black sport utility vehicle with dark rear windows. The alarm starts. It is a sharp, repeating sound. Lights flash, horn chirps. People shout for her to close it. She drops something, maybe her phone, and bends to grab it. Inside the sport utility vehicle, a body rises against the rear window. The boy sees it first. He pulls his mother back by the backpack. She falls onto him. The rear hatch thumps from inside once, twice. Then the glass cracks. Not all at once, a white line across the tint. The alarm keeps sounding. Movement begins in 3 other vehicles. That is the rule arriving in public. Not a theory now. Not one bad car sound wakes them. Flashing lights wake them, or maybe it does not wake them. Maybe it gives whatever is left a direction. I do not know. I only know the alarm makes the quiet bodies start. I run to the sport utility vehicle, not to help the person inside, to stop the alarm. The driver door is still open. Carla crawls backward, dragging her son. I lean in, see the key fob in the cup holder, and slap at buttons until the horn stops. For 1 second, the sudden quiet is worse. The body in the back keeps hitting the hatch because it has already started. Move, I tell Carla. She moves good. Some people freeze when a direct order would save them. She does not. I back away, checking the cars around me. A man inside a southbound sedan presses his face to the side glass and smears it with his mouth. A woman folded over the wheel of a rideshare car raises her head, then stops. The dog in the recreational vehicle starts barking again, and 2 shapes inside the vehicle answer with dull impacts against the door. People begin shutting themselves in cars. Others get out because cars no longer feel safe. Both choices make sense and both choices can kill. At 8:10 at night, state police abandon the overpass position. I do not see the official decision. I see the result. 2 cruisers reverse down the northbound lanes with lights on but sirens off. Officers on foot move with them, telling people to head south to the last open exit on foot if able. South is behind us. South means walking through miles of stopped traffic toward whatever is still functioning. North means the wreck zone, buses, ambulances, and the overpass. East and west are sound walls, drainage fences, steep slopes, commercial lots that may or may not connect to anything. A trooper stops near my truck. It is the young one from earlier. His nameplate says Harris. He has sweat tracks through road dust on his face. He recognized me. "Driver, you opened the medical load?" "Yes." He looks at the broken seal, then at Paula's little treatment line, then back at me. "Keep it controlled. That is the plan." "What is your plan?" "Get people off the roadway." "Which way?" He does not answer fast enough. I pull the paper atlas from my cab and open it on the hood. The pages are creased and dirty from years of use. Most drivers trust screens until screens fail. I still keep paper, because paper does not care about signal. We are north of a service plaza, south of a maintenance access road, west of an industrial park, and pinned between a drainage channel and a sound wall for almost a mile. There is a culvert marked on an older county map in my side pocket, not on the atlas. I know it because I took a wrong ramp here 8 years ago and had to loop through the industrial park at night. There is a gravel service road beyond the trees, used by drainage crews and utility trucks. It should connect to a county road. Should is a dangerous word, but it is better than walking the freeway. I show Harris. There is a drainage access past the next mile marker, maybe 6/7 north, behind the right shoulder. If the fence gate is locked, people can still follow the ditch until the culvert. Harris looks at the map, then toward the north. The right shoulder ahead is blocked, I know. Wrecks and infected between here and there. I know that too. He rubs his forehead with the back of his wrist. I cannot send civilians through a drainage ditch on your memory. Then send them south and hope the exit is clear. His mouth tightens, not offended, just tired of choices that all sound bad. A shout rises behind us. The black pickup men are back near a silver minivan. One of them is pulling a woman's suitcase from the open hatch. The woman hits him with a shoe. It would be funny in another world. Here it is just another way to draw noise. Harris looks toward it, then at my map again. "Can you move this truck?" "Not far. Cars in front, cars behind. Trailer swing is blocked. Shooter is jammed. If I clear you 10 yards? For what?" "To block the lane. Doc repeat a barrier." I look ahead. He is thinking about using the trailer as a wall between moving infected and people walking south. It might work for a few minutes. It might trap us worse. Also, the engine noise will draw anything that responds to engine noise. I say that out loud. Harris nods. Everything draws them now. I start the truck at 8:24 at night. The engine sound feels too loud. It always has a deep idle, normal to me after years of sleeping behind it. But now it travels across the stopped lanes and comes back in reactions. Heads turn behind glass. Hands hit windows. A body under a highway maintenance truck jerks and starts crawling toward the sound with one leg dragging. People hear the engine and look at me with anger, fear, hope, all mixed together. I release the brake and ease forward 3 feet. Stop. 2 more. Stop. Tim guides from the front left, palms down, careful. Nia checks its side. I cannot see her when she goes below the mirror line, and I hate that Harris and another trooper push people back. A sedan in front has to be shifted in neutral. Its owner refuses at first, then gives up when Harris tells him he can move it or abandon it. 4 men push it sideways enough for my bumper to clear. I move the truck 8 yards in 7 minutes. That is all 8 yards, angled across the lane, nose slightly left, trailer blocking a gap that people kept trying to use. It is enough to make a narrow, protected pocket behind the trailer. It is not enough to change the freeway. I shut the engine off. The movement it caused continues. From the north, where the wrecks sit thick near the overpass, a line of infected begins to appear between vehicles, not a herd from a movie, not an army. Individuals. A woman in a hospital gown with one bare foot, a man in a delivery uniform, an older person in a suit jacket with no tie, a young man dragging one arm. Some are slow. Some move with sudden ugly purpose when a voice or light catches them. Several ignore us until someone screams. Then direction changes. Harris raises his pistol, then lowers it. Too many civilians behind them. Too many vehicles. Bullets in a freeway jam do not vanish after missing. "Quiet," he says. Then louder, because nobody hears quiet in a panic. Quiet. Everyone quiet. People try. That is what stays with me. Most people try. Children get hands over their mouths. Adults whisper. A man closes his car door one careful click at a time. Someone silences the dog in the recreational vehicle. or the dog stops on its own. I do not know which. The infected keep moving anyway. Not all of them. Enough at 8:50 at night. Full dark is not here yet, but the freeway lights come on in sections. Tall poles over the lanes flicker alive with that hard white glow. Maybe on a timer, maybe controlled from somewhere that still has power. The sudden light reaches into cars and buses and wrecks. It flashes against emergency reflectors, mirrors, broken glass, chrome, wet pavement under overheated engines. The response is immediate. A body inside an evacuation bus ahead hits the side window hard enough to crack it. Another stands in the bus aisle, visible through the windshield, turning toward the lights. In the southbound lanes, two people who had been lying beside an overturned motorcycle begin moving. One gets up, the other crawls. The freeway lighting is meant to help drivers see. Now it shows everything where to go. Harris speaks into his radio, asking someone to kill the lights. He gets static, then a voice telling him to repeat. He repeats. No result. The black pickup men choose that moment to rush my trailer. I think they have been waiting for attention to shift. 3 of them come from the rear, 1 from the passenger side. The shaved head man has the pry bar. He swings it at the trailer latch. Not at me. The first hit rings loud, too loud. I move toward him without thinking of anything except that sound. Tim grabs one man by the jacket and pulls him backward. Nia strikes the side of the trailer with her tire iron. Not hard, but enough to make the men look at her. Paula shouts for everyone to stop making noise. The shaved head man turns and raises the pry bar toward Tim. Harris appears from the left and points his pistol at the man's chest. Drop it. The man freezes. Drop it now. The pry bar hits the pavement. The sound makes 3 infected turn between the cars ahead. Harris cuffs the man with plastic restraints and shoves him to his knees by the barrier. One of the other men runs. The third backs away with hands raised. There is no clean justice, no time for charges, no place to put him. Harris looks at me and says, "Can you hold him?" No. That is honest. I cannot hold anyone. I can barely hold the latch on my own trailer. The infected reach the first line of cars near us at 9:03 at night. The first one comes between a red sedan and a grocery delivery van. It is the woman in the hospital gown. She moves toward the nearest voice, which belongs to a man inside the red sedan shouting into a dead phone. He sees her too late and tries to roll up his window. It is already most of the way open. She gets both hands inside. He kicks at her from the driver's seat. His wife in the passenger seat screams and hits the horn by accident. The horn blasts tears through the lane. Every infected close enough to hear it changes direction. I run to the red sedan because the horn will kill us faster than the woman at the window. The driver is pinned against the steering wheel, one hand fighting her face away, one foot stamping at the floor. His wife is folded against the passenger door, trying not to touch anything. I reach through the rear window, unlock the rear door, and throw it open. Out the back, I say. Out now. The wife crawls over the console. The husband cannot move. The horn continues. I cannot reach the wheel from outside without getting beside the infected woman. Tim comes in from the other side and pulls the driver's arm. The man screams that his leg is stuck. It is not stuck. He is pressing the brake and horn at the same time in panic. I hit the side of the car with the tire thumper. Foot off. Foot off. He jerks his foot away. The horn stops. Harris pulls the infected woman back and drives her down. He does not shoot. He cannot. Too many people. He uses the baton until she stops moving enough for him to drag her away from the window. The husband climbs out the rear door and falls onto the pavement. His left wrist is torn by teeth. Paula sees it. So does everyone else. The man looks at his wrist, then at his wife. No, it did not break skin, it did. His wife backs away from him. Then she hates herself for backing away and steps forward again. Paula says, "Sit down away from the group. I am not infected." "I did not say you were. Sit down away from the group." He runs. Not towards safety, away from the eyes on him. He bolts south between cars, holding his wrist against his shirt. His wife screams his name. Harris starts after him, then stops because the infected are closer on the north side and the crowd behind my trailer is now packed with families, elderly people, and children. That is how infection spreads without a hidden bite cliché, not with clever deception. With shame, fear, bad light, and too many emergencies at once. At 9:30 at night, we make the decision that is not official and not clean. We leave the freeway, not everyone. We cannot move everyone. That sentence still feels dirty even inside my own head. The people near my trailer number maybe 40 now. The bus ahead has more. The lanes behind us have hundreds. The road south might be open for some, closed for others. Police are still trying. Harris keeps getting broken radio calls about a transfer point, then a contamination zone, then an order to withdraw to exit 43. None of it matches what our eyes show us. Paula says, "I am not staying until every car around us wakes up." Nia says, "There is a maintenance path beyond my bus. I saw a fence when we stopped." I show the map again. Drainage line should be east of the right shoulder. We get past the bus cluster, cut down behind the barrier, follow the ditch north. Then east under the service road. No lights unless needed, no horns, no shouting hands on children, no opening cars, no helping anyone locked inside unless we can see no bite, no blood, no movement, and even then only with a plan. Daria looks at me with anger, I understand. "So we leave, people." I look at her children before I answer. "We leave the freeway. Anyone who can follow quietly can follow." That is not a good answer. It is the only one I have. We take what we can carry. I fill 2 cardboard medical cartons with gloves, masks, bandages, saline, wipes, basic first aid, and a handful of oral rehydration packets from a triage kit. Paula adds scissors, tape, gauze, and small bottles I cannot identify without reading every label. We put cartons into backpacks and tote bags. We leave most of the trailer full. That hurts more than I expect. Not because of money. Because supplies sitting in a trailer do not save anyone. Supplies scattered into a crowd disappear. Supplies carried by exhausted people slow them down. There is no perfect use. There is only the next mile. I go into my cab one last time. I take my atlas, flashlight, spare batteries, gloves, a rain jacket, and the small photo clipped to my visor. My daughter is 26 now, married, living in Boise, and angry at me half the time because I missed too many birthdays when she was young. The photo is old. She is 9 in it, standing beside this same truck's predecessor, with one hand on the fuel tank. I almost leave it because it is just paper. Then I take it because nobody is grading my survival choices. The truck key stays in my pocket for now. At 9:48 at night, we start moving north in a line. Harris goes first with another trooper named Bell. I follow because I know how to read space between vehicles. Nia stays near the middle with the older people. Paula stays where injuries are. Tim and Daria keep Owen and Lily between them. Evelyn walks with one hand on the side of cars. Not for support at first, then absolutely for support after 50 yards. We move without flashlights. The freeway lights give too much light already. That helps and hurts. We can see open doors, broken glass, fluids under vehicles, shoes, dropped bags, a stroller with no child in it. It also means anything still able to look has enough light to find movement. The first rule is listen before passing a vehicle. That sounds simple until 40 people are breathing, whispering, scraping shoes, adjusting bags, and trying not to cry. We stop at each closed car with a visible body. We look through glass. We listen. If there is movement inside, we go around with as much distance as the lanes allow. If there is no movement, we still go around because no movement means nothing now. A man inside a pickup taps on the window as we pass. He looks alive, fully alive. Scared, sweating, eyes clear. He holds up his hands to show no wounds. The passenger beside him is slumped against the door with a jacket over her head. "Please," he says through the glass. "She needs help." Harris stops. I hate that he stops, and I hate myself for hating it. "Bite?" Harris asks. The man shakes his head too fast. "Heat, just heat." She passed out. Paula steps forward. "Show her arms, move the jacket." The man looks at the passenger, then back at us. "Move the jacket," Paula says again. He does not. A thump comes from under the jacket, small at first, then another. The man locks his door again with a click I hear from 5 feet away. He begins to cry without making much sound. She was fine 10 minutes ago. Nobody opens the truck. We keep moving. The man stays inside with her because love can become a locked room, and nobody outside can fix it without dying with him. At the evacuation bus, we stop again. Nia's bus blocks most of the right lane. The front windshield has 2 long cracks. The door is shut. Inside, passengers crowd at windows, some alive and pleading, some not right. It is impossible to count. The interior lights are on. A woman pounds the glass with both palms and mouths words we cannot hear. Behind her, a man in a cardigan stands too still, then turns toward her when she hits the glass again. Nia covers her mouth with her hand, not to silence herself. to keep herself from opening the door. I can see that fight on her face. A surviving passenger near the front holds up a handwritten sign against the window. Help US. Harris looks at the door. Bell says, no. We cannot leave 70 people. Harris says, but his voice has no plan in it. Nia forces herself to speak. The emergency roof hatches. People in back can climb if someone helps from outside. Can infected climb? Tim asks. Nobody answers because nobody knows. A sound comes from inside the bus, a hard impact near the rear. The crowd inside shifts. Someone screams behind the glass. The scream triggers movement in the middle aisle. I see heads turn. Bodies that were seated begin to stand, not all. Enough. Harris pounds once on the glass near the driver window and points upward, then backward, trying to signal roof hatches and rear exit. A man inside nods. He understands. He starts pulling people toward the rear emergency window. Then someone inside grabs him from behind. Nia steps back. We go. She says it before anyone else can ask her to save them. Her voice is flat and broken. That may be the strongest thing I see all night. We go around the bus by climbing over the median side of a compact car and squeezing past a delivery truck. Evelyn cannot climb it. Tim and I help her, 1 foot at a time. She apologizes each time her shoe slips. I tell her to stop apologizing. She tells me not to tell her what to do. Fair enough. The infected from behind have reached the red sedan area now. We cannot see all of them, but we hear doors, glass, people hissing warnings. The freeway lights hum overhead. Somewhere south, a horn starts and stops after 3 seconds. 3 seconds is still enough. At 10:22 at night, we reach the right shoulder beyond the bus cluster. The shoulder is blocked by an overturned landscaping trailer, a broken-down recreational vehicle, and a state highway maintenance pickup with amber lights flashing. The pickup's driver door is open. No driver. The amber lights rotate and reflect off everything around us. I want them off. But getting inside means touching an unknown vehicle with unknown blood on the seat and maybe a body under the dash. Harris takes one look and says, leave it. We pass single file. The amber flash draws attention from the wreck zone ahead. I can see infected turning toward it, confused by repeated light without sound. That gives me an idea I do not want yet. The drainage fence stands behind the shoulder, 6 feet high, chain link, with a locked maintenance gate. Beyond it, the ditch slopes down into weeds, trash, and concrete runoff channels. The service road is not visible from here. The map says it is there. The dark says nothing. Bell cuts the gate chain with bolt cutters from the maintenance pickup. He does it fast and ugly. The snap is louder than I want. We freeze after it. 3 infected between wrecked cars turn toward us. One starts moving, then another. The amber lights keep flashing behind us, and that splits their attention. We push through the gate and start down the slope. The ditch smells of hot water, mud, fuel, and old garbage. Mosquitoes hit exposed skin. The ground is uneven. People who walked fine on pavement start stumbling. The children need hands. Evelyn needs stops. A man in our group, I do not know his name, complains that we are moving too slow. Nia tells him he can go ahead alone. He does not. 50 yards into the ditch, we hear a woman shouting from the freeway behind us. Wait, please. I turn. A woman in a yellow shirt is climbing through the cut gate with a little boy. Behind her, an infected man comes over the guardrail with one leg bending wrong under him. He falls down the slope, gets up, and keeps coming because the boy is crying. The woman slips in the weeds. The boy pulls at her hand. Harris raises his pistol, then looks at the people between him and the target. Down, he says. Nobody understands fast enough. I move uphill with the tire thumper. Not heroic. Stupid, maybe. But the woman is 30 feet away and the infected man is 10 feet behind her. The slope slows him. That is the only reason anyone can help. I get to the boy first and shove him behind me. The woman crawls past. The infected reaches for her ankle. I hit his forearm. The strike lands with a dull sound. He turns toward me because I made sound. His face is slack, eyes open, mouth working. I back downhill. He follows. That is all I need. Bell comes from the side and knocks him down with a long piece of broken signpost. Harris grabs my shirt and pulls me away. Bell hits again until movement stops. Nobody speaks after. The boy's mother holds him so tight he complains he cannot breathe. She loosens her arms a little. Not much. I look at my tire thumper. There is dark fluid on it. I wipe it on wet grass and hate that I still need it. At 10:45 at night, we reach the culvert. It is not big enough to stand in. It is a concrete drainage tunnel running under an access berm, maybe 4 feet high at the center. With shallow water moving through trash and leaves, a person can crouch through it. An old person can maybe crawl. A child can make it if he does not panic. It smells bad. It is also the first thing all day that is not a freeway lane. The service road is on the other side. I can see a darker opening and a strip of gravel past it. Good, the map was right enough. Then headlights sweep across the ditch from the freeway. Not police. My truck, for a second, I do not understand. Then I realize someone has climbed into my cab or started messing with the switches. The headlights are on high. The marker lights are on. The engine turns over once, grinds, turns again, then catches. My truck starts. The sound rolls across the freeway and down into the ditch. Every infected within hearing begins moving toward it. I cannot see all of them, but the change is immediate. Shapes cross between vehicles. Hands hit glass. A horn starts somewhere, then another. People still on the freeway scream. The engine idle is steady and deep. My truck is now the loudest thing in the corridor. The shaved head man. That is my first thought. He saw the key? No, the key is in my pocket. Spare key? I keep one hidden in the cab for lockouts. Stupid old habit. A good habit in normal life. A terrible habit now. Harris says, "Move through the culvert." People start crouching. Children first, then Evelyn, then the injured. Paula goes halfway in to guide from the middle. Nia stays at the entrance and counts people through under her breath. I am supposed to go. I do not. My truck is drawing infected. Yes, that helps us for now. But if whoever is inside tries to drive it, he could jackknife the trailer into the ditch entrance or crush people still near the gate. If he lays on the horn, the whole area will come alive. If he opens the trailer and starts throwing cartons, survivors will swarm and bring infected with them. I know the truck. I know what it can do by accident. I have to stop it, I say. Tim grabs my sleeve. No, we are out. Not if he turns it this way. That is not your problem anymore. He is wrong and right at the same time. I pull free before I can think enough to stay. I run crouched along the ditch, then climb the slope near the maintenance gate. I keep low because I do not want the truck headlights on me. The engine sound covers some of my movement. That helps. It also draws infected from both directions. That does not help. The amber maintenance lights still flash. The freeway lights still burn overhead. The whole road is too visible and not clear enough. When I reach the shoulder, I see the truck cab dryer door open. Interior light on. The shaved head man is not inside. A teenager is. Not one of the pickup men. A kid maybe 16, skinny, face white with fear, sitting in my driver's seat with both hands on the wheel. A woman stands on the step outside, shouting at him to drive. She has a baby carrier against her chest. Another man is trying to climb onto the passenger side with a backpack. The boy does not know how to release the parking brake. Thank God for that. The woman sees me. Drive us out. I cannot. You have a truck. It is blocked. Drive over them. She points at cars, not infected, cars with people inside, maybe alive, maybe not. It does not matter. The truck cannot drive over a jammed freeway without getting hung up, shredding tires, rupturing something, killing people under the bumper. Weld is not magic. Out of the cab, I tell the boy. He shakes his head. My dad is back there. Out. The woman grabs my shirt. Please. My baby. I look at the baby carrier. There is no baby in it. A blanket is tucked inside. Maybe there was a baby before. Maybe she lost the child hours ago and has not accepted it. Maybe the baby is with someone else. I do not ask. Her eyes are fixed and empty of any plan behind her. Infected are closing from the north, drawn by the engine. 3, then 5, then more between vehicles, slow until a sound catches them. The man on the passenger side sees them and starts shouting. The boy in my seat panics and hits the air horn cord by mistake. The blast is enormous. It rolls through the freeway and comes back in screams and impacts. I reach into the cab, grab the boy by the back of his shirt, and pull him off the seat. He falls onto the step, then onto the pavement. The woman climbs toward the driver's seat. I block her with my shoulder. She hits me in the face with the heel of her hand. Not hard enough to stop me, but enough to make my eye water. Listen, I say. This truck is bait now. You run to the ditch or you die here. She tries to hit me again. The man with the backpack grabs her and pulls her away from the step. He has understood. She fights him until she sees the first infected reach the front of the blue compact car. Then she runs with him, still holding the empty carrier. The boy crawls under the open door and stares at me. My dad is back there. I know. I do not know. It is just the only thing I can say. I climb into my cab. This is the last place I should be, and it still feels familiar enough to hurt. I set the marker lights brighter, leave the headlights high, and keep the engine running. I do not touch the horn. The infected need the engine and lights. That is enough. I lock the passenger door, then climb down the driver's side with my atlas stuffed under my jacket. The first infected reaches the front bumper. It slaps both hands against the grill, then turns toward my movement. I shut the door softly, not enough. It hears. It comes around the bumper. I back toward the shoulder, tire thumper raised. A second infected drops from the hood of the compact and lands on both knees, then gets up. Harris fires from the gate. One shot. The first infected falls. The second turns toward him. He fires again, then waves me in with his other hand. I run. No clean thinking now. Just feet in gaps, hands off car doors, eyes down for debris, then up for movement. I pass the woman with the empty carrier. She is stuck at the fence because she will not let go of it. The man with the backpack is trying to pull her through. I grab the carrier strap, not her, and cut it with the folding knife from my pocket. The carrier falls. She makes a sound that is worse than yelling. The man drags her through the gate. She fights him for 3 steps, then stops fighting and runs. The boy follows me. I do not know his name. He keeps saying "Dad" under his breath. We reached the culvert as the truck horn sounds again behind us. This time it is not a mistake. Something has pulled the cord or fallen against it. The sound holds, long, continuous. The infected turn fully toward my truck. Survivors on the freeway who were hiding start screaming again. The horn keeps going until it cuts out in a strangled way. Maybe the air pressure drops. Maybe a line fails. Maybe someone inside the cab is now against it. I do not look back. Inside, Harris says the boy goes into the culvert. The woman with the carrier strap cut from her chest goes after him because the man with the backpack pushes her gently but firmly. I crouch and enter last with Harris behind me. Belle is not there. Belle? I ask. Harris says, "Move." That tells me enough. The culvert is tight and wet. My knees hit concrete. My palms slide in dirty water. Someone ahead coughs, and 5 people whisper for silence at once. The sound of my truck is muffled inside but still present. Engine, distant horn packs, human noise. The concrete carries it in a low way that makes direction hard. Halfway through, Evelyn gets stuck. Not physically stuck. Her body refuses the crouch. Her legs shake, and she says she cannot. She is on hands and knees in shallow water with Tim in front of her and Daria behind. Lily is already through with Nia. Owen is crying quietly on the far side. Evelyn says, "I cannot do this. I am too old for this." Tim says, "Mom, move." I cannot. Daria says, "You can." One hand, then one knee. I cannot. The people behind press closer. Harris looks back toward the entrance. A shadow crosses the round opening, then another. I crawl up beside Evelyn as much as the space allows. "Look at me." She does not. "Evelyn, look at me." She turns her head. "You yelled at me before. Do it again on the other side." She stares at me, filthy water dripping from her chin. Then she moves one hand, one knee, one hand, one knee. Angry now. Good. Anger moves when fear will not. We get through. The far side opens into a narrow drainage basin with waist-high weeds and a gravel track beyond a low service barrier. No street lights, no traffic, no line of cars. The absence of cars feels unreal. People spread out too fast, and Nia snaps at them to stay together. Paula checks the injured boy from earlier. Tim helps Evelyn sit on the gravel. Daria holds both children and looks back at the culvert opening without blinking. Harris comes out last. He has lost his hat. His radio is gone. He carries Belle's baton in one hand. No one asks. At 11:18 at night, we count 32 people. We started with more. I do not know the exact number. That bothers me because numbers are what I use when the world makes sense. Fuel, miles, weight, hours. Now I have missing people without a clean count. The woman in the yellow shirt and her boy made it. The teenager from my cab made it. The woman with the empty carrier made it, but she sits in the gravel and rocks forward and back with both hands gripping the cut straps. The man with the backpack sits beside her and does not touch her. Tim's family made it. Paula, Nia, Harris, me. Belle did not. The freeway is still visible through gaps in the trees. My truck's headlights point across stopped cars. I can hear the engine idling. It may run for hours. It may run out of fuel before dawn. It may draw infected away from the culvert long enough for people behind us to escape. or it may draw them into one place where nobody survives. I do not get to know yet. Harris wants west because law enforcement may still hold the county road. I want east because industrial buildings have roofs and maybe water. Paula wants anywhere with a door that can be closed. Nia wants distance from the freeway before the sound brings more infected through the culvert. That last point wins. We move west at 11:31 at night. No flashlights except covered ones pointed at feet. No talking above a whisper. The gravel crunches no matter how careful we are. The children are carried when they stumble. The teenage boy keeps looking back. I finally ask his name. He says Aiden. His father was in a sedan about half a mile south, sick from heat, not bitten. Aiden left him to find help and found my cab instead. He says it once and waits for me to judge him. I do not. I have left more people behind in one night than he has in his whole life. At midnight, we reach a locked service gate. Beyond it is a 2-lane county road with no moving traffic. A dead traffic signal blinks red on battery backup near a closed equipment rental yard. The gate has a chain and padlock. Harris looks at me. I look at my tools. I left the bolt cutter near the truck. Belle had the other one. The fence is 8 feet high with barbed wire on top. Not climbable for Evelyn, the children, several injured people, and half of us in our current state. Naya walks along the fence and finds a washout under one corner where water has eaten away the dirt. It is low and muddy. A child can slide under. An adult can dig it wider with hands and flat stones. So that is what we do. No miracle tool. No clean escape. Just 32 people on knees in mud, widening a gap under a fence while the freeway sounds and continue behind us. The woman with the empty carrier does not move until Paula kneels beside her and speaks quietly. Then she digs too. Aiden digs harder than anyone. Tim cuts his hand on the fence, and Paula wraps it without drama. Evelyn tells Owen to stop staring into the dark and watch Lily's feet. Daria gives the last of her water to both children, then lies and says she already drank. At 12:27 after midnight, we are through the fence. We pass the equipment rental yard. The office windows are dark. A forklift sits behind the fence, with its forks raised a foot off the ground. A vending machine glows inside a small lobby, still powered. Several people stare at it through the glass. Food and water, right there, behind a locked door. The front door has a keypad and a deadbolt. Breaking glass will make noise. The vending machine itself will make noise if tipped or smashed. We stand outside and look at it with the focus of hungry animals. Except we are still people, and people can talk themselves out of stupid choices when enough other people are watching. Not now, Harris says. Nobody argues. That tells me how tired everyone is. A quarter-mile later, we find a landscaping supply lot with an open side gate. Inside are pallets of stone, stacks of bagged mulch, a small office trailer, and a water spigot on the outside wall. The spigot works. That is the closest thing to mercy we get. We do not cheer. Cheering is sound, and nobody has the energy anyway. We fill bottles, rinse mud from hands, wet cloths, and drink in careful amounts because Paula warns people not to make themselves sick. The office trailer door is locked. Harris breaks the small side window with the butt of Belle's baton after wrapping it with a jacket to dull the sound. It still sounds loud to me. We wait afterward for movement. None comes. Inside the office trailer, we find a desk, a dead computer, paper invoices, 2 folding chairs, a wall calendar, a first aid kit with cheap bandages, a half-empty jar of instant coffee, a pack of crackers, and a bathroom that does not flush because the pump is off. It is not a shelter for 32 people. It is a pause. At 1:10 in the morning, Paula checks everyone for bites in the open space between pallets. No privacy, no dignity, better than a hidden wound. People complain, then comply. Shows off if needed, sleeves up. Pant legs lifted. Hair checked where someone had been grabbed. She finds cuts, scrapes, bruises, heat rash, 1 sprained ankle, Tim's fence wound, and no clear bites among the people who reached the lot. The woman with the empty carrier refuses at first. Paula does not push her physically. She just kneels in front of her and says, "I need to know you are safe. I need you to know too." The woman lets her check. No bite. The baby carrier had belonged to her daughter, not her baby. Her daughter was 18 months old. The child was with her husband when the first walking lane broke. She says this in a flat voice and then stops. Nobody asks where the husband is. Nobody needs the answer. Aiden has a scrape on his neck from crawling under the fence. He panics when Paula touches it. "Not a bite," she says. "Look at me." Not a bite. He nods, but he does not believe relief yet. At 1:36 in the morning, the freeway sound changes. The truck engine stops. I hear it even from here because I have been hearing it in the back of every thought since we left. The idle cuts out, and a large silence opens behind the industrial buildings. The freeway still has noise, distant horns, faint shouting, maybe shots. But my truck is gone from the soundscape. Fuel, stall, damage. Someone shut it off. Someone drove it 10 feet and killed it. No way to know. Without the engine, the night around the landscaping lot gets more important. We hear insects, dripping water from the spigot, somebody sniffing, a child shifting on gravel, Harris trying the radio again, and far away, a siren that starts and dies within 2 seconds. Nia stands beside me near the gate. You lost your truck. Truck can be replaced. She gives me a look. She knows that is not the whole truth. It was my home most months, I say. She nods. Bus had 72 people when I left the senior center. There is nothing useful to say back. I stand with her in the dark and do not try. At 2:05 in the morning, Harris decides to take 2 volunteers to the county road intersection and look for police, fire, or any organized evacuation. He asks me because I know roads. He asks Nia because she knows how to manage scared people and will argue with him if he starts thinking too much as a cop and not enough as a human being. Paula stays with the group. Tim wants to come. Daria tells him no. He stays. We move without lights along the ditch beside the county road. The industrial park signs are dark. A warehouse alarm blinks silently. The sky is cloudy now, and the air smells of rain coming, though no rain has fallen. We pass a utility van parked with the driver door open. No driver. We do not inspect it. We pass a fast food wrapper tumbling across the road. That little normal object bothers me more than it should. At the intersection, we see the town. Not all of it, just the edge. A gas station with pumps dark and convenience store lights on. Several cars abandoned near the pumps. A police cruiser parked sideways across the road with doors open. A fire engine beyond it, lights flashing but no siren. 2 firefighters move near the engine, or 2 infected in firefighter gear distant and low light make honesty difficult. A signboard outside a church says emergency shelter with an arrow. The arrow points toward the center of town. Harris whispers, "We need contact." Nia whispers, "We need to know if that shelter is still a shelter." A figure moves near the gas station door. Slow, then fast when a can rolls across the pavement in the wind. It turns toward the sound and hits the glass door with both hands. Another figure inside the gas station hits back from the other side. Harris lowers his radio. We go back. That is the right call, and a hard one. Official markings do not mean official safety now. Flashing lights can be leftovers. Shelter signs can outlive shelters. A fire engine can be bait without anyone intending it. We return to the landscaping lot and tell the truth without making it bigger. Road ahead unsafe. Possible shelter compromised. Need daylight before moving. Need watches. Need no fires, no engines, no alarms, no shouting. People take it badly. Of course they do. A man named Russell says Harris is hiding rescue from us. Carla, the mother searching for an inhaler, says her son needs real medical help. Paula has found 1 inhaler in a purse from another survivor, nearly empty, and is rationing it with Carla's permission. Carla hates the word rationing but follows it because she is not stupid. Russell keeps talking until Nia tells him to sit down or leave. He sits. At 3 in the morning, rain starts. Not hard. Enough to wet clothes, cardboard, bandages, hair, the gravel under us. Enough to make the office trailer smell worse with too many damp people inside. Enough to lower the heat and raise another problem. Hypothermia is not just for winter when a person is exhausted, wet, hungry, and sitting still. Paula says that people listen because she has not wasted words all night. We use plastic sheeting from the landscaping pallets to make a dry corner for the children and older people. We do not unwrap more than needed because the noise is sharp. Every sound gets judged now. Tape, plastic, cuff, shoe scrape, someone opening a cracker packet. The whole group has learned the rule through fear. Sound has a price. I sit with my back against a pallet of paving stones and finally eat half the sandwich from morning. The bread is warm and smashed. I share the other half with Aiden. He takes it without looking at me. Your dad's name, I ask. Robbie. Where were you headed? My aunt's house. My mom died 2 years ago. Dad said the city was going to get bad. He stops there. Enough. I tell him my name is Mark. He says he knows because it was on my permit book in the cab. He saw it when he tried to drive. I almost laugh, but laughing would be wrong and loud. Instead, I nod. At 4:12 in the morning, the first infected reaches the fence of the landscaping lot. It is a man in a reflective vest, maybe from the highway crew, maybe from the equipment yard. He walks along the outer fence, one hand dragging on chain link. The sound wakes everyone who had started to drift. Harris moves to the gate with Bell's baton. Nia motions for people to stay down. Paula covers the flashlight with her palm and lets only a sliver of light through. The man in the vest does not see us at first. He follows the fence sound made by his own hand. Then Russell whispers, "Oh God," and the man stops. One whisper, that is all. The man turns toward the gate. Harris waits until he is pressed against the chain. Then he drives the baton through the gap and knocks him back. The man falls, gets up, comes again. Harris repeats it. This is quiet compared with a gunshot, but not silent. Another shape appears on the road beyond. Then another. The group starts to come apart without moving. You can see it in shoulders, eyes, hands tightening on bags. If one person runs, others will follow. If they run through the back fence into the dark, we will lose half in the industrial lots. Nia steps into the center and speaks low. Nobody runs, bags on children up. We move through the mulch rows to the rear gate, slow. The rear gate is not really a gate. It is a wide opening where a truck has bent the fence months or years earlier. We missed it in the dark when we came in. It leads to another gravel lane behind warehouses. We move that way while Harris keeps the first infected at the front fence. The second reaches him, then the third. He should run. He does not. He gives us time, and time is the only thing he has left to give. I go back for him because apparently I have not learned. This time I am not alone. Tim comes too. We each grab one side of Harris's vest and pull when he steps back. He curses at us, but he comes. The infected hit the front gate as we retreat. Chain link rattles. The sound follows us out the rear. Dawn is beginning behind clouds. Not sunrise yet. Just enough gray to show edges. The gravel lane leads between two warehouses and out toward a rail spur. No trains, no workers, no engines. A row of box trailers sits backed to loading docks. Most doors closed. One dock door open about 3 feet. A warehouse can shelter us or trap us. We need shelter. Rain is stronger now. People are shaking. Carla's son is wheezing again. Evelyn's lips are pale. The woman with the empty carrier has stopped responding to her name. We approach the open dock door with the kind of caution we should have had at every car in the afternoon before we knew better. Stop. Listen. No talking. Harris taps the metal door once with the baton, then steps back. We wait. Nothing moves inside. He taps again, harder. Still nothing. The loading dock is chest high from the ground. Tim boosts Owen up. I climb after and help pull people in. One by one, bags first for some, people first for others. The interior smells of cardboard, rubber, and old dust. Pallet racks stand in rows. The emergency exit signs glow on backup power. That means electricity somewhere, at least for low systems. It also means alarms might work if we open the wrong door. Inside, we find packaged office furniture, janitorial supplies, paper products, and a break room with vending machines that take cards and cash but do not care about our emergency. The water fountain works for 3 seconds, then coughs and stops. Pipes may have pressure, may not. A sink in the break room gives a thin stream. We use it carefully. At 5:02 in the morning, we lower the dock door manually. It screams on its track for the first foot. Everyone freezes. Nothing answers from outside except rain. We lower it the rest of the way, inch by inch. It closes with a final metal clap that makes every person wince. We are off the freeway. That is not the same thing as safe. We gather in the break room and warehouse aisle. Paula sets up a check area on flattened cardboard. Harris makes a watch list. Nia counts again, 32 still. That feels impossible. Then I remember Belle and the others who never made our count in the first place. Aiden sits against a vending machine and asks if we will go back for his father in daylight. Nobody answers fast. That is cruel, but a fast lie would be worse. I sit beside him. In daylight, we look from a distance first. We do not walk blind into the freeway. We do not open cars without knowing. We do not promise what we cannot do. He stares at the floor. So no. So I do not know. He nods once. He hates me for the answer. Good hate can hold a person upright for a while. At 5:40 in the morning, a radio in the warehouse office turns on by itself, or because backup power cycles through. It is a weather radio, set low. sitting near a desk with invoices and a mug full of pens. Static fills the office first. Then an emergency message repeats in a calm, recorded voice. Civil authorities are advising all persons in affected counties to shelter in place. Avoid major highways. Avoid contact with individuals displaying abnormal aggression or unresponsiveness. And report bite exposure to emergency personnel where available. Do not approach stalled vehicles. Do not use horns, sirens, flashing lights, or loud machinery unless directed by emergency responders. Evacuation routes are being reassessed. That phrase lands badly. Harris turns the volume down until the words are barely audible. Nobody asks why the warning came so late. It probably did not. It probably ran all night on channels nobody could hear over engines, horns, panic, and the belief that help would reach the road. I walk to the warehouse office window after dawn fully arrives. From there, beyond loading docks and a strip of wet grass, I can see a slice of the freeway. It is far enough that individual cars are small. The road is still packed. Smoke rises from somewhere near the overpass. Not black enough for a major fire yet. Emergency lights still flash in spots. My truck is visible by its trailer, angled across the lane. The headlights are off now. The cab door hangs open. For a moment, I think about the load still inside. Most of it, supplies that could help. Supplies that could get people killed trying to reach them. A truck that held my work clothes, spare boots, logbooks, old receipts. My daughter's crayon note from 15 years ago tucked behind the sleeper panel, and the hidden spare key that helped turn it into bait. A life can fit in a cab when a man spends enough years making small spaces practical. Then I stop looking at the truck and look at the road itself. The freeway is no longer a route. It is a locked corridor full of heat, metal glass, bad choices, trapped people, delayed movement, and official plans that arrived out of order. It did not fail all at once. It failed by inches. A blocked shoulder, a flat tire, a siren. A door opened from pity, a horn pressed by panic, a light left flashing, a person who looked dead long enough for someone decent to get close. That is how it turned into a graveyard before anyone admitted the word. Behind me, Paula asks for help moving pallets to block the hallway near the office. Nia is organizing water turns at the sink. Harris is marking exits on a wall map he found in the warehouse office. Tim is cleaning his cut again because Paula told him dirty wounds matter now. Daria is making Owen and Lily eat 2 crackers each before sleep. Evelyn is awake and telling Aiden that if he is going to sit there feeling useless, he can sort bandages by size. The woman with the cut carrier straps is asleep under a sheet of plastic, finally still in a way that means exhaustion and not infection. I leave the window and help with the pallets. The day outside gets brighter. The rain stops. Somewhere beyond the warehouse, a siren starts, runs for 1 second, and cuts off. Everyone freezes. We wait. Nothing hits the doors, no glass breaks, no voice calls for help. After a while, people move again, quieter than before. I do not know what happens next. I do not know if the county road clears, if the town holds, if the freeway burns, if the receiver for my medical load still exists, if my daughter can reach me, if any dispatcher is still pretending loads can be tracked. I know only what is in front of me. 32 people. 1 warehouse, limited water, medical supplies and backpacks. A map with wet corners. A highway full of lessons bought at a price nobody agreed to pay. I was a truck driver when the outbreak reached that freeway. I did not save the road. I did not save the load. I did not save most of the people trapped there. I got off the pavement. For now, that has to count.